Today, I'm going to make you like broccoli by showing you one of my favorite salads from Dishoom, one of London's best Indian restaurants. And it's very simple to make. First things first, we quickly blanch the broccoli. So, we have a pot of boiling water. And this is really to give it that wonderful green color that you see from perfectly cooked broccoli. But we're going to serve this mostly raw, which for me is the brilliance of the dish. So for you broccoli lovers out there like me, this is something new and interesting, a different side of broccoli that has a bit of nuttiness to it. But for people who hate this, you almost don't get any of the taste you associate with steamed or boiled broccoli. You get something that has a very different flavor profile. And even if you could detect a hint of broccoli, the chili and the date will sort you out. So, on that note, boiling water, broccoli goes in. And we're really just blanching the outside. But of course, this is broccoli after all. We're not making salmon tataki here. So don't stress yourself over it too much. Now, once this beauty has turned bright green, stove off, grab a bowl of ice water, and this goes straight in to cool down. While this is cooling down, we introduce the heroes of the dish that would reinforce the nuttiness. We have some pistachios, some pumpkin seeds, and some sunflower seeds. And we're simply going to toast them slightly to cook the essential oils of these nuts a bit, concentrate their flavors and their nuttiness. So stove on, and the pistachios, they go in first because they're the biggest. And of course, the recipe is just a guideline. Once you've made this once, you could introduce the dry fruits you want, the chilies you want, the citrus you want. We're basically building flavors to complement or tame the flavors of the broccoli, depending on which camp you're in. Once these are slightly toasted, the others go in. This is a wonderful way to enjoy nuts in general. It really brings out the flavors. So once you hear this slight popping sound, we know we're ready. So stove off, and we can assemble the dish. So first up, we remove the florets. Now, we deal with the stalk, which can be extremely tasty. The key to that is you need a mandolin to shave it thin, or insane knife skills. So we simply set it to the thinnest possible setting, and you go. Never let them go to waste again. The reason why we normally don't eat them is because they can be extremely fibrous. But since we're slicing very thinly against the grain, they'll end up giving you a wonderful texture. Once you get close to the bottom and the fibrous bits, you taste and then you decide how far you want to go. In this case, we could almost finish the whole thing. Brilliant. Now, into our salad mixing bowl they go. And to that, just to be on the safe side, we add some lime juice, which will be part of our dressing anyway, just to minimize the risk of them oxidizing and changing color. And for the florets, we simply portion them. One way to do it without getting too messy is you use the stalk to help you get started. For instance, here, I'm going to slice until I'm almost touching the florets. And now, I simply peel them apart. This way, you don't end up with a chopping board full of annoying green dots that are hard to clean. Same here, pull. Once you get to this part, you can just pull them apart. For me, you want them to be about this size so that they're bite-sized and they provide a contrasting texture and a crunch. You want the ratio to be almost 1:1. And now, to that, we're going to add some red chilies. For me, I like to remove the seeds. They're purely adding spiciness without adding any meaningful flavors. So if you want it spicier, add more chilies and you'll get more flavors out of it. So how much you want to add is purely a matter of personal choice. The red and green color also is a wonderful sight. Brilliant. Now, to balance the spiciness, we're going to introduce some dry fruits. Today, we're using dates. But again, you can use any dry fruit you like. The purpose here is to introduce a bit of sweetness. And because they're quite sweet, you don't want them to be too chunky so that they get distributed evenly. Otherwise, you have a lump of sugar. Brilliant. And how beautiful is that already? Give it a mix. And to that, we simply add a very generous amount of our toasted nuts. In this case, all of it. Oh, the smell. Incredible. You don't even need oil for this, by the way. I find extra virgin olive oil almost distracting. And finally, to reinforce the beautiful green color and to bring some freshness to the nuttiness and the spiciness, we tear some fresh mint leaves. Even the smell alone from this salad, which is something people rarely pay attention to because they rarely smell, but this is incredible. Mix. Now, another generous squeeze of lime juice. Bring everything together and plate. Brilliant. And of course, optional lime. And that's it. One of my favorite ways to enjoy broccoli. If you have friends who hate broccoli, they'll love it. If you have friends who love broccoli, they'll also love it. This is Dishoom's broccoli salad. I really, really, really hope you enjoy.